Hello again, this is Ann Holmes with No Sewing Until You Quilted. Last week we showed you building the background, putting all the background, the pieces of water in the background. Now we're going to cut the flowers. I used a variety of whites and off-whites, some with a tint of blue, a little pink. Anyway, just a variety of colors. So there's to be some subtle shading. And then I ironed the little pattern pieces onto the fabric and then cut them out with my smaller magic button. These are the last of the flowers that we needed to cut out. And then I come over here and find the numbers, and I'm going to place them on top of where they're going to be used. Just follow the numbers. Right now, I placed them close to where they're going to be used, and now I'm going to pick these up, keep the flower units together, and just place them close to where they're going to be used. That helps keep it organized. I'm working at my high table, but for a little detail like this where I'm going to be working in one spot for a while, it's nice to have a high stool to sit on. Just make yourself more comfortable. And with the French fuse attached to my drawing here, I can move this in a position to make it more comfortable for working also. Okay, so now we've organized this. We put the flower petal units together so that they'll be easy to find. And we're going to just start building right here in this corner and keep going. So that piece is down. This has to go down and this has to go down. So you just study your drawing. The leaf should be in the back of the flower. So we're going to put this number 49 down first. And anything that's an inside curve, you just clip that to the paper. Now we want to turn these two sides, but leave this open because a petal will be on top of that. So we have our glue stick handy. And that came out of... You need some fresh glue stick here. So we just fold it back to match the paper. Always finger press. We're going to form that dog ear there. We're just going to let it stick out. And then we can pull this away. You see the turned back edge on the top. And we're just going to clip away that folded part that we don't need. We don't want to force any excess fabric into those points. So now we're going to do the second gluing. And we'll just put that right on top, matching those registration marks. All right, then we seal it down once it's in place. So now we're ready to put this petal down, but we're only going to turn this under where it's touching. It'll be touching here, all there, but this has got to be left open and another petal will be there. So I'm going to put a little cut in the seam allowance. Just, I like to make a little notch so I can see it better. So I just made a little notch there. And so I leave this open and just turn those other edges. So we're going to clip anything that's on the slight inside curve and then glue stick. So I just changed cutting mats so that we can see this better with some contrast on the petals. I'm going to finger press. Now before I do the second gluing, I'm going to hold this up and see what it looks like. So that's looking really nice. So we'll just do the second gluing and place that. This is really the fun part when it starts to, you start to build the applique. Applique with no sewing in it yet. Use the glue stick. The French Fuse foundation holds the body of everything together, and the glue stick holds the seam allowances together. It's one piece of fusible over the entire working drawing. All right, now we're just going to continue around. So now you can decide, let's put this leaf down first so that petal can be on top. So we'll turn everything here but there. That's another petal from over here. So we'll just do this a small section at a time. Let's just take care of this piece right here. I'm going to take just a couple of clips because it's just a slight curve. Finger press that. So that little edge is taken care of. Now where else do we have to turn? We have to leave a space there and then turn here because that's touching this piece. So we're just going to put a little clip in the seam allowance again. And then I bring it up to make a little notch so I can see it better. And so I don't need to clip that because that's a slight outside curve. So it's like building a puzzle, but you know where all the pieces go. And we've been very organized so we don't have to keep looking for them because we've got them close to where we're going to be using them. So that looks pretty good there. And now we have to turn this side under and leave that open. So we're going to do this side now and look for any inside curves right there. That's where we'll clip. That one place should do it really. And now the glue stick on the back side, just in the seam allowance. Now we're going to form a little dog ear there again. So what do? We just pinch that out there and then we'll trim it off. We're just going to finish this little end. And let me look here. What happens here? That could, that's okay too. That's going to be hidden with that little piece. So we can leave that there. So it's always a good idea to check. And then we're going to clip this dog ear off. We just fold it back. The folded part is on top. So we just clip away the back of it. And then glue stick the turn back edges. So that looks pretty good. Then we'll seal that down. Now we can finish working around this flower. We can either go this way or that way. It doesn't matter. So we're going to go ahead and do this one first. So it's touching here all the way over to here. So there's where we're going to put our little notch. Clip any inside curves. Just use your fingers to pinch it back. Try to match the paper. And that will go there. I always check before I glue it down. We don't want any raw edges showing. In fact, I could just clip that little thing back just a little bit, make sure it doesn't stick out. Okay, and then we'll do this one here. And this one, everything gets turned back except for right there in the center, because everything is touching something. So we're going to just turn one little edge or side of it at a time, clipping where necessary. All right, so we also have to turn right there. This part right there has to be turned. Glue stick on that back side. Seal it down. So these little mailing labels are going to be the center of the circle. So we put lots of glue stick on the back of that. And then just use our fingers to pinch this together to make it a nice circle. My fingers are a little big, but I'm just pinching that back and then looking at it on this side. There are a few little places where I can use my sewer stiletto to try to, you know, with the wet, when the glue stick is still wet, you can kind of use your sewer stiletto to soften those little tucks. And then, oops, here's one. So just by manipulating that with the glue stick is still wet or moist, Then we put lots of glue stick on that and put it on the center of our flower. And now this is the fun part. We can start removing some of our paper pattern as it grows. It's fun to see it. We don't need this anymore since everything that was touching there is now down. We don't need that place keeper anymore, so we can tear that off. All right, I wanted to show you also, I'm replacing this fabric. It blended in too much with our water. I went for all these kind of yellow greens, spring greens, but this was just a little too pale, so we've replaced it with another one, and I'll show you that in just a second. I'm going to remove some of this paper. I can even remove this big piece here because everything is touching here is covered up. So just kind of support it when you're pulling these big pieces off. The sewer stiletto is very handy for getting under some of these pieces to pull them off. Anyway, it's fun to do a little section at a time and then pull off the paper. You don't want to get in too big of a hurry. Like, I don't want to remove this yet because it's a placeholder for the next pieces. Same way here, we need to retain that edge. But if I wanted to, I can remove some of it. Just tear the rest of the paper so that it's holding that place. All right, what you want to do is study your design. This flower looks like it's on top of this one and that one. So we're going to do the ones behind first before we do that one. So you put lots of glue on the back of those little circles and then just place them down, and I still go ahead and seal them down even though there's glue stick under there. I want to get it all around, so just place them. So that's what that little section looks like. It really requires some patience to do this, but it's kind of fun. It's especially easier when I'm not filming, that I can just focus in on doing this. Thanks for watching. We'll see you next time.